Let's deal with this bullshit. All right. Let's stop using the male sole provider analogy because it's clearly not the reality for most middle class people of color in this given economy. Okay, so you said middle class people of color. It's not then. Is it? Let me tell you something. Upper middle class is not the reality. All married people, all races, doesn't matter. Okay. You guys are the least married group of women on the planet at 24% of you will marry ever in your life. And that's with the baby boomers inside of your numbers. Once we take out the baby boomers, y'all going to be at like 14, 18%. Okay? So what it is that we're actually dealing with is a whole bunch of women where less than 20% of you are going to marry ever. All right? Now let's talk about the women who do marry, right? Let's talk about the Arabs, Asians, Indians, Jewish women. Let's talk about white women. What happens when you take all of them and add them up? 72 out of 100 women work who are married. So nobody's talking about retiring you. Nobody's talking about retiring 30-plus-year-old women who have children by other men that make on average $31,000 a year. So no, we're not talking about that. But a provider male isn't somebody who just sits a woman down. A provider male is somebody who understands that he has the burden of performance to provide for his household. That doesn't mean he's the sole provider, okay? That doesn't mean it in our culture or anybody else's culture. But you girls know so little about marriage because so few of you are married. Your mothers weren't married. Marriage is some fucking giant living off in a mountain somewhere that you've never seen. It's all fucking conceptual to you about how it should work, what needs to be happening in it, and all of that bullshit. So you're just talking stuff that doesn't even make sense and doesn't apply to people who are even getting married. Out of 100 women who are married, 72 of them work. 36 out of 100 of those women work at least part-time, and most of those women are working for their husbands. So this idea that somebody's going to come into your life and pay for everything is not going to happen. But here's what we do know. You need about $1.6 million to retire. Inflation's at fucking 7%. Okay? And 1.6 million was based off of pre-inflation numbers. How you doing saving for that? That's what you're going to need as a single woman to retire, unless you plan on living off of Pookie's babies, right? Or unless you got a pension, or unless you think the government is just going to swoop in and save you from yourself, which they're not going to do. Okay, so you've got 1.6 million, and right now you're 100% responsible for saving for your retirement. If you had a man, you'd be 50% responsible for that and your bills. If he out earned you by 20% or 30% or more, then you would be 20 or 30% responsible for doing it. So you guys need to quit acting like getting married is gonna have you down bad. You already down bad. You're just not looking at the numbers.